Hello and welcome to Iron Dinos. I'm Sean and this week we're having a look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga collection. This is a collection of all of the Konami released games from the late 80s right through to around the mid 90s, covering a number of systems and a number of games ranging from the absolutely excellent to the incredibly difficult to stuff I've never seen before. So without too much further ado, let's have a look at the collection. All of it. Every game on every system. To make this as easy as possible, I'm going to kind of filter these together. So we'll look at the NES games, then we'll look at the Game Boy games, SNES, Megadrive, arcade. Okay, so that's so you've got a bit of an idea of the order of things here. And lastly, if you stay to the very end, a common thread among Turtles games is you get like a little animated intro, quite often taking off the start of the animated, the intro to the animated series. So I've grouped all of those together, including, for completion's sake, Shredder's Revenge at the very end, and then there's a nice little montage of them together right at the end if you manage to sit through the whole thing. So without any further ado, let's have a look at the first game. Okay, first up we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1989 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This has a reputation for being an incredibly difficult game, and I think part of that for my own peace of mind is that I didn't really know how to play it back then. What I do, and what I started off doing here, is I picked my favourite turtle, and I ran headfirst into almost everything I could see, and it takes a little getting used to this game. It's not exactly easy, but I don't think it's, until a certain point, I don't think it's as ridiculously difficult as its reputation would have it. Even though I'm playing terribly, I haven't played this game in like 30 years, give me a break. But what you've got here is for the most part, a side-scrolling action game. You get to play as all of the four main turtles. You can switch over at any point. They all have different stats, but for some reason Donatello is the strongest and has the greatest reach. They seem to, a lot of these games seem to have their stat balancing way off, and I think the way they've done it is they've made who's perceived as the least popular turtles the more powerful, and the ones you're more likely to want to play as first the weakest, and so on. So basically what you've got is all four turtles, and they each have a life bar, and you go through all these areas until you either complete them, or if Turtle loses all of their energy, they're captured. Now there are stages and areas later in the game where you can retrieve a fallen turtle, I believe. I don't think you can get them all back at the one station, but you can go through and you can get them back. This, I remember a friend and I played this an awful lot when we were kids, it being the first Turtles game and that being the biggest thing in the world back then. And yeah, like I don't get that far in this in what I'm going to show off today, but the area where you're having to swim and there are bombs and everything at the side will electrocute and injure your turtle was about as far as I can ever remember us getting. But I remember this game not being good. My memories of this game is that it was far too hard, but also not a lot of fun to even play, and that's not my experience today. I've actually been quite enjoying playing this. As per the video, I said in the intro, I played a little bit of each game, not 2 or 3 hours. So you're getting, to the best of my ability, you're getting like gameplay-wise, you're getting a kind of a first impression here. Keep forgetting that in old NES games, everything returned as soon as you scrolled them off the screen, which is still a function of a lot of the games I like to play today. as I like to play kind of indie games in this kind of, well, not necessarily this style, but like a Metroidvania kind of style or whatever. So, but yeah, this is, I think, looking back on it with today's eyes, I think this is actually pretty impressive for an NES game, all things considered. With everything you've got going on, 4 characters for the game to keep track of. It's quite a big game. There's quite a lot of areas. There's quite a lot of variety to it. None of which I appreciated when I was a kid, because somewhere around this time I would have first played the arcade game and been like, why isn't it that? But I digress. Yeah, this game is pretty fun. It's definitely one that I'm going to... it's definitely one I'm going to go back to and give a real proper shout, because back then I feel we gave it a pretty large amount of time. I mean, we played it all the time when it came out before we went back to deciding it was too hard and went back to playing Mario or whatever. But I had a lot more fun than I ever actually remember having fun playing this back in the day, and that's pretty cool. That's quite a nice thing to discover, because I thought this and the Game Boy ones were going to be the absolute freaking dirt worst, and that is not at all the case. I don't know who this frog guy is. I don't remember if he's part of the Turtles canon or if he's just a generic kind of mutant frog dude, but... I just remembered that last moment you might want to have a quick look at each of the turtles, so there you go. That's just a little look to see how different each of their hitboxes and radiuses and stuff are, and how very, very quickly Raph and Mikey take damage. Because again, they assumed Raph and Mikey were going to be the most popular. Turtles 2, the arcade game. This is a NES port of the glorious arcade game that everyone loved so much. First released in 1990 on the NES. It is an attempt to port a game way, way, way too powerful to the NES. You're already seeing characters, all of the colours are very, very washed out to get so much going on screen. That fire's pretty nice though, I'll give it that. You noticed it with the last game, like, it's not the capture. Back when you used to play these games, like there's bars where you see Donatello and bits of the foot when we're fighting disappear. That's how the game always played. It was always like that. You just kind of accepted it back then. And if you think for 1 second this is the worst version of this game you could possibly get, I had this on the C64 and I absolutely loved that port, and the port is nowhere near as good as this. Like this is very smooth. This is very smooth, and it's quite fast as well, which is something the arcade very, very much was. As you can see, there's not a tremendous amount of tremendous amount of animation frames per move or whatever, but it's getting the idea across, and it's still playable. I believe most of the arcade is in this. I can't remember if they managed to do the grabs or not. We'll see as I play, I guess. But no, I think for a massively underpowered home console version, I think this is a pretty nice attempt. Also, you gotta wonder about scaling the difficulty, because obviously the arcade is set there. The entire point of the arcade's existence, while delivering a top-notch experience, largely is to try and draw as much money out of you as humanly possible, was the game was very different on the home entertainment, on the home systems, because of course you need to keep people invested, feel like they've paid their, what, $50, $60, whatever it was, and get their money's worth out of it for time played. But also, you don't want it to be so hard And he gets a reputation like the first game of people not necessarily wanting to play it because it's so ridiculously difficult. I don't know, but this is a decent conversion in my opinion. It's got a lot of stuff in there. I didn't have a chance to play through the whole thing, which I do for the arcade game every couple of years. I've got it emulated on my PC that I'm not really going to need anymore, which is quite handy. It's a bit of an arse to reset up every once in a while, so maybe I'll go through on my own and complete every version of the arcade as well. Because I've always counted Turtles in Time. Turtles in Time is basically the closest you seem to get to that on the SNES when you got the machines that had the power to take it. But I hope you don't get sick of seeing Donatello is not only my favourite turtle, he always was, but he's also my favourite playstyle because usually he's got range and he's got a bit of range to him, and he's also not so slow that it's holding you back. I also hope you don't get tired of seeing Rocksteady, as he is the first boss in an awful lot of these games. And that's what we've tended to show off because I didn't want to spend a whole weekend playing this just to show off bits and bobs. So get used to Donnie, get used to Rocksteady, and when we get a bit later on, I'll try and switch things. I'll try and remember to switch things up a little more. This is largely how I remember it from the arcade. You hit him a couple of times, then he boots you in the face with an unblockable move, and you have to go away. But no, this looks good. Rocksteady is very recognisable from the cartoon. He's a very big chunky sprite. It's good. It's all good. I hope I beat him. There we go. Rocksteady is down. Shredder glides incredibly gracefully out of the window. And we move on to Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project. Which was released in 1991 in the arcade and onto the NES. The Turtles have somehow got down to Florida. I don't exactly know how that works, but they're trying to have a vacation after defeating Shredder twice in a row. But unfortunately, you can't keep a good blade-based psychopath down. And he's... Oh! I thought for a minute Shredder was saying, "Bummer dudes, I'm stealing your vacation." Oh my god! Shredder appears to have the Master Emerald. So the Technodrome is now the Death Egg. I'm very much hoping. Just stop kidnapping April. I'm pretty sure that is the common theme in all of these games. Shredder kidnaps the girl, Turtles get grumpy, and they come foil him. But it looks like we're starting with Shredder actually sending his Foot Clan robots down to the beach. This is our first... That turtle doesn't look good. This is the worst a turtle has looked so far. He looks... I wonder if this was the point they were... I got sand in my eyes. I wonder if this is the point they were trying to replicate the looks of the suits of the movies a bit more. But, like, it's a very, very basic sprite. An awful lot of green with very little differentiating it. But as I learned from a kid, I loved to draw as a kid. And I was quite good at a lot of things. But those turtle heads and turtle faces are very, very difficult. There's something about them that they can go from looking like angry and aggressive and cool and whatever to very quickly looking very derpy and wrong. And this one, he looks more like, facially he looks like Filbert from Rocko's Modern Life, if we're going to be early 90s about this. The sprite looks lumpy. It looks poorly defined as well. It looks like a blob that kind of meanders around. It's not nowhere near as nice as the last two games, and considering the NES one was the first Turtles game and they did a better job, that's not really ideal. And they could have, I'm guessing Konami farmed these out to different companies. I'm guessing these all weren't made in-house by the exact same team for every single game. You know, you've not got that. But this is still the box art with the Turtles all having the same red bandana as they did in the comics back in the early days, which is kind of interesting. It makes you wonder. These games all have the characters from the Turtles licensing is a fascinating history, but I somehow figured out how to change to Mikey, and I tried to change Turtle again and I couldn't figure it out. But Mikey kind of does the same thing with that weird kind of up-chucking maneuver. Anyway, these games, the box art always tends to, in the NES ones, always tends to have the red bandana, which is from the comics. But they have all the characters from the, it's got April and the Technodrome and all stuff like that, which wasn't in the comics. It was only made for the cartoon. So it's always been kind of weird, the licensing around it. Like the early toys back when the cartoon first came out and was Mega. That had the different colours for each of the bandanas, and it had the specific weapons and stuff, but they were all slightly different shades. Each turtle was a slightly different shade of green, and facially they looked, you'd think there wasn't a lot of difference between the comics and the comics and the cartoon, but there really was. They were a lot softer and rounder and wider in the cartoon. But I'm getting off topic, I apologise, I meant to be talking about this game. The thing is, right, this is another side-scrolling beat-em-up like the last one, and it's not as good. For some reason, a lot of the attacks do that over-the-top thing, so it doesn't feel very... Oh, you get to change after every life. There you go. There you go. So... it doesn't feel that like lifting doesn't feel, none of it feels very impactful, and this is the first game. There's your boy Rocksteady again. Yeah, this is where he has the exact same moves and pattern as in the last fight. I apologise, you're gonna see this quite a lot. Yeah, this one doesn't feel very impactful, and I don't think it looks as good as the last one either. That sprite is... I'm not going to say more detailed, but it's more finely detailed. It's not as chunky, and it looks out of place with the turtle you've got there, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, as with before, hit him a few times, he goes down. We had a little bit of an idle animation there, and we're going to move on to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters on the NES. Did you know this came out on the NES? Did ya? Because it's something I was kind of very, very vaguely aware of, but I'd certainly forgotten by the time when I got this collection. I was delighted to see it on here. Now, this was released for the NES in 1994, and it is really, really bad. As you might expect. You saw on the title screen, on the selection screen there, you only get to play one of the 4 turtles. I picked Don, of course, but he's not got his stuff, which I thought might come in handy. I thought it might. I was quite well versed, I should say. Back in the day, I had Tournament Fighters on the SNES, and it's a really great game. I really, really liked that. We'll come to that later. But there's your you've got this ball. Splinter drops it off to give you an advantage, and you have to Hadouken to throw it at your opponent. But I think the I like the sprites in this. The backgrounds are a bit plain. I like the animations in it, but it just kind of plays like crap. It's very, very basic, and it's very it's quite slow and clunky. Last one was a little bit clunky as well, actually. It felt a little floaty when you push the button, but that's beside the point. Yeah, this is not a good adaptation of Tournament Fighters, and it absolutely sucks in comparison to the SNES version. There's no depth to it. Maybe a little longer with the moves and stuff will help me enjoy it more. But from what I played, I did not have a good time with this. And the fact that you can only choose one of the 4 turtles, it's a really limited game. But now we move on to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the Game Boy. This one was first released in 1989. I keep going to say who it's developed by. It's just Konami. All the information I've got is Konami. So, love the look of this game. There's almost more detail in this than there is in the SNES ones. That sprite looks like That sprite looks like a cartoon turtle rather than a TV one, rather than a comic book one. Sorry. After playing all the previous games, it took a little getting used to them walking into me hurts me. But yeah, I think for a Game Boy game, of the time this came out in 1989, I think this looks really, really good. It feels pretty nice too. It's a little slow, but there's enough coming at you at short enough intervals that it doesn't feel as slow as it probably looks. It's not a nice big swing of Donnie's weapon, but it's kind of it's like a little bonk. Let's be honest, it's like a little bonk, but it looks good enough. It moves pretty quickly, so it's certainly not the most impactful looking of the bow stuffs we've seen so far, but it's not as lame as in Turtles 3 on the NES. And at least he has it, unlike the Tournament Fighters game. So, plus for that. But yeah, I've not really spoken about the music in these games so far, which is just stuff I'm very used to. The first game for the NES has really great music and sound and everything. Again, the licensing thing. I wonder if all these games didn't necessarily have license to use the theme, so they do something really close so you'd kind of know what it's aiming for, but just differently enough that it's not actually straight up using it. Whereas this is obviously a new composition. It does sound a bit like a little like the score from the show, but working with the much more limited sound palette of the Game Boy. Oh, there's the Turtles theme. Quite a nice rendition. Yeah, let's have a look. So that bike is quite detailed. Okay, the wheels are just a circle and don't actually move, but no, this is an original Game Boy game. What can you expect? I'd definitely say this is one of the ones I'm going to go back to. I don't know, just game feel and the look and everything. I found this really pleasing, and from the start you can pick the level you want to start at, 1 through 5. So, you know, if I just want to see the ending, I can try and do the last one. And I'm sure there's bound to be some inputs cheats you can use to get infinite lives or whatever, because these are just going to be ROMs, existing ROMs popped into emulation software. That's all these are. They've not reinvented the wheel. This isn't like Shredder's Revenge where they've built a brand new game to replicate something old. This is literally just the old ROMs in a whatever it was, 30 quid pack, which is absolutely fine by me. Even though I have, you know, ROMs of all of these on my computer, it's nice to play them on my Xbox. It's nice to have them all in one nice little package here like this. And, you know, it's got a new intro and stuff, which I showed off right at the start, so I'm not falling for that. Blocks from the ceiling. I've played Game Boy games before. I know your tricks. I fell for that one. A lot of the... It's quite cool that they've got so much detail in the backgrounds as well, without anything looking cluttered at all. Nope. This level's quite long for an original Game Boy game, but I guess as there's only 5, they need to, you know, need to give you your money's worth. Oh, there we go. Oh, what a surprise! It's Rocksteady. Oh, you can hit his bullets. That's a nice touch for a Game Boy game. And down he goes. No problem. And now we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Back from the Sewers, the second Game Boy game, and this one was released in 1991. Like that picture of the turtle? Oh dear. Oh dear. He looks like he's holding in a poop. Yeah, he looks like he's making that last, a desperate rush to the loo. That's unfortunate. Also, again, I wonder if they're trying to emulate the look of the suits, but that sprite does not look good. That sprite literally looks like a guy in like a... It's fucking... How are you meant to avoid that? Ugh. This... Yeah. This turtle looks like a guy in a suit, so that's not ideal. And like the last attack looked like a bonk. This does not look impactful at all. This does not look or fit, and it's also looked like the last one would have knocked out twice as many villains in the amount of time that I'm doing this. This is probably about the same pace as the last game in moving forward and backwards. Sprites are a similar size, but this feels so much slower. And Christ, that attack looks and feels so incredibly weak. Music's jaunty, I'll give it that. Again, the backgrounds are quite detailed, even if they are... yeah, the backgrounds are quite detailed. They look... there's a small number of assets repeated, but It looks, but it does look cluttered. It is kind of taking away from the aesthetic a little bit when I focus on it. God, this game is so... It feels so unimpactful. It's so... yeah, there's no... Quite liked that jump. Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's any weight to it, to the hits or anything. Maybe this is suffering from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie thing, where they're like, "Oh, we're worried about the violence in this show about violence. Oh, we better tone it all down." Because this, what was that leg? I do like the jump. There could do with being a couple more frames to it, but at least it's something more interesting than he stays in the largely... Oh. Okay, when he does the spin jump, I don't know the difference in how to do it, but when he does the spin jump, that's the one that looks good. Otherwise, he just like jumps like normal. But yeah, the Foot Clan don't look good. I've got to be honest. Oh, it's not boss time yet. Oh, that's not ideal. Ha! I didn't even know you could. I didn't even know you could do that. It's just a habit of mine to instinctively jump when I see a big pit, even though I'm assuming I'm going to go down it, no matter what I do. But what is that? They got like a skateboard under their butt or something, because there's no forward momentum to get them into that position. Oh, okay. What have we got here? Oh, they're just going to keep coming, are they? Right, okay, fine. Is this in lieu of a boss? No, level still go. Oh, bless your heart, Splinter. That'd do nicely. Oh, here he is. Here's Rocksteady. Is that the same... Well, I don't know if that's the same sprite as the... previously. Oh, getting my butt kicked. Yeah, the reach on the bow isn't quite as long as I keep thinking it is either. Oh, I'm down. Okay, we've gone back to that's literally the same picture with a different weapon in front of each. We've gone back to the captured system, so each life is a different turtle. That's cool. Oh, that's even shorter. Oof. I wasn't paying attention. I thought I'd picked Leonardo. Maybe this is Raphael. Because if not, those katana are goddamn short. I wonder why they always do Rocksteady first. Well, I know why they always do Rocksteady first. They always do it Rocksteady first because that arcade game did Rocksteady first and was incredibly popular. Ah, we got him. Off you go, dude. We'll see you again in the next game, I'm sure. Turtles 3 Radical Rescue. Game Boy 1993. 1993 is still releasing Game Boy games. That just goes to show how massive the Turtles were. Okay, like the last one, I'm liking the designs in the cutscenes. Maybe that's Donnie in the foreground. It looks like he's holding a PKE meter. Oh, this is slow. Oh, hey! Looks like we actually finally got some people behind bars for a change, because normally they're robots that we blow up, or they're people from Rocksteady who also blow up or run away, so, you know. April! If we could just get her into a new profession, maybe the Turtles would lose. Maybe Shredder would, by the time they find out about it, you know, the Turtles, Shredder would have taken over New York and whatever. This is an interesting idea as a starting setup. So I'm gonna guess that in this case it tells you which turtle you're going to be on each level. Oh. Or in fact you've got to go... Oh, it's called Radical Rescue. It makes sense, yeah. You've got to go through and actually rescue the other turtles as you go. That's a cool idea. And April, presumably, because, you know. Okay. Like that sprite. His legs are a little... legs are a little wonky. That's a nice... Oh, look how impactful that is. Alright, we're on to a winner here. Okay. I don't know why they're clay monsters. The foot weren't made of clay. Oh. Surely I... Yeah, there we go. This would be the Mind Shredder was talking about. Okay. Oh, bats, of course. There are always bats in caves. Didn't you know that? That's Video Gaming 101. I'm already not great at this. Oh no! But I can't say that's the game's fault. That's probably mine. Very jaunty tune. Ah, here we go. It's alright. Oh. Okay, I thought that was going to heal me. Oh, is that the, Oh, Christ, that's the maze. Yeah, that's the maze we need to find our brothers in. Oh, wow. I wonder if this has got Metroidvania elements where you need to get another turtle to... Because, like, I couldn't jump up into that tree earlier. I wonder if, like, one of the other turtles has a higher jump or something. Oh, I need that. I wonder if one of the other turtles has a higher jump or something. This is very cool. Fuck. I did not see that coming. I'm very into this. Okay. So what are each of those dots? Was... fuck. Was there a dot when I got that pizza? Which I'm guessing I need 3 of them to do something? I don't know. I think it's me getting used to the patterns of the enemies rather than... damn it! I think it's me getting used to the enemies rather than the actual combat itself being a problem, so... Where'd my... Oh! That pizza acted as a life! I see. Ah, crap. I see. Alright, I'm really liking this. Really liking this. I think this is going to be high on the list of ones to give a proper go to. I'll get a pen and a pad, and I'll make myself a little map, and yeah, have a good old time with this one. I like it. It's got a good feel to it. Sounds good. Combat feels impactful, even though it seems to be even though it doesn't seem to be the primary focus, they're more obstacles in the way than anything else. But I mean, this one is hard. This one is hard so far. But I'm sure, god damn, very hard. I'm sure a little getting used to it, and I'll really like that one. But here we go. I'm sure this is this was the first one all of you thought of. It was certainly the first one I thought of. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, for the Super Nintendo. 1992 for the SNES. And it's got to be a toss-up. It's this or the arcade is everyone's favourite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, right? Like, maybe some of you Megadrive guys with the Hyperstone Heist, but for me, this was the most coveted game on the SNES, to the point that I actually, very frustratingly, learned a sad lesson about the nature of people over this game, because I used to get a Super Nintendo magazine every week, and one of the ads in there was, oh, if you send a couple of games, they had values of games. They're like, if you send us a couple of games up to this value, we'll send you a game up to this value, and this, that, and the other. And I thought because it was in a magazine, it had to be legit. And my parents were like, no, don't be an idiot. But no, they let me learn the harsh lesson. Off I sent with my games, and I patiently waited for my copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, which, of course, literally never came. Of course it didn't. It was never going to happen. But you need to learn these lessons when you're a child, and when I was 12 or so, I wanted this game, probably a little older because I'm in the UK, but I needed to learn that lesson, and I learnt it the hard way. But can you really blame me for wanting this game so bad? I mean, look at it. It's beautiful. It sounds incredible. Every movement is impactful. It's got all of the moves from the arcade as well. It's got you know, it's got the grabs, it's got the dashes, it's got the shoulder barges, it's got everything you could possibly want, and it looks absolutely stunning. It sounds absolutely stunning on the SNES. The only thing this has got is they're not, which will come to the, you know, it's one of the pièces de résistance at the end. We'll come to the what the arcade has over everything else at the end. It's not got quite as many frames per animation, but if you want the arcade in the house, this is one of the closest games I've ever felt to having that. This and you can get most of the Metal Slug games on PC or whatever. That's hugely nostalgic and making it feel like I have the arcade in the home as well. But this game was just the most sought after thing, you know, by me and all of my friends. This was the Turtles game. And side note, Baxter, finally a first villain who's not Bebop, Rocksteady, or a random frog. But Baxter was one of my all-time favourite villains. I don't know how I knew what the Fly was when I was, what, 8 or 9 when this character would first have appeared. I was pretty young, but I'm pretty sure I'd seen the Fly by then. Brundle Fly, which is a wonderful movie. I think it's great. It's not the sort of thing that really would have scared me as a child. Anyway, so probably my nan let me watch it. She used to sit and watch show me Arnie movies and shit when I was under 10. That was awesome. But yeah, always really, really liked Baxter. never understood why they didn't get much use out of him. You know, now that I'm older, he's a very limited character. There's not a tremendous amount you really could do with that guy, but it was nice having him around. I liked him. And it was great seeing him at the start of this game. An unsung game. An unsung hero of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games. I had this because Turtle Fever was mad, and I'd already got Street Fighter 2 version of that. Mortal Kombat 2 may have been on the way. I never particularly liked the first Mortal Kombat, but I love Mortal Kombat 2. But Turtles Tournament Fighters was like... it was largely like Street Fighter, but it also had weapons and it had all of these wonderful characters, several of whom I didn't know from the show. I didn't know... Is this Chrome Dome? I don't know. Some of these are Archie Comics characters. War is in this. He's this huge, like, weird Stegosaurus monster thing. Yeah, Chrome Dome I don't think I'd seen in the... I don't think I'd seen it in the cartoon. And Armagon, I don't think I knew. There was the Cyber Shredder who was... I think he was a game thing over anything else. I'm sure he was never in the cartoon, and I don't even know if he was in the comics. But, well, that's unfortunate.
Round 2.
It's fine. I'm sure I can pull this back. Yeah, Rat King was in this, as I recall. Don't know if you could play him. I think he was one of the bosses. Like, these things used to have bosses towards the end that were unplayable. Like Dalsim and Vega and the... not Dalsim. Vega and Bison and the like were originally in Street Fighter. But, yeah, this had at least one of them. Probably a couple. But this is another one that I'm going to go online, look up a moves list, because it's been a very long time since I've played a 2D fighting game to any vast level. And I'm going to get good at this, and I'm going to complete it, because back then, obviously, I beat it with every single character. Oh, the neutrinos are in the background. Yeah, I completed this with every single character. Had perfected. I used to play with Donnie, and I used to really like playing with Shredder, so maybe I'll show him off in a minute. Because I don't have the moveset, so I don't want to be just showing off the same couple of moves over and over again. But I remember this as a really good beat 'em up with quite a lot of moves and quite a lot of depth. There's that bar just below the health. When that filled, you could do a super move. Donnie shot like an energy dragon across the screen, as I recall, which, if your enemy was standing, it would just hit for, it just hit and hit and hit and hit to vast damage. It's slightly bugging me that the bottom of the unicorn's jaw is in front of the statue rather than above it. But anyway, Donnie has all of the cash. What are you going to do, Donnie? I bet it's something nerdy. Yep, he's going to vaguely have an invention that he can finish with all of this money. Okay, so I didn't really show off the characters before. Wingnut, I never saw him in the cartoon, and I was obsessed with him. I thought he looked awesome. Asuka should probably have a U in it. Asuka, but yeah, let's have a go with Shredder and see if the old magic is in. Now, as I recall, he was a heavy type, and he's a bit slower. I like Donnie. He's got range and he's got speed. But let's have a go at him against Armagon, the
Round 1.
robot shark dude. Okay. I wonder if that's an emulation thing. Armagon just belched out a wave. I remember you could always definitely see that when I played it on the SNES. Getting my ass kicked. I remember that Shredder scream as well. Man. I'm looking forward to spending many hours playing this. Okay, mental note. Don't stop jumping at him. Yeah, Shredder is a lot slower but higher power. He has a little bit of a... It's like, it's so amazing. It's just a fraction, but a tiny bit of a delay between pressing the button and the move hitting. But he does hit hard. And he does look cool. Would have been nice if he had the cape, but that would, I imagine, be very hard to animate along with the rest of all this, so... They're very good at guarding in this. Use the special... Oh. God damn it. That would have been really impressive and cool if I'd have actually hit him. Get him! Get him! I suck. More practice is needed. I love this game. What's a shark going to do with all this money? Okay, he's not even going to tell us. Okay, so we're over to the Megadrive now with the Hyperstone Heist. This was first released in 1992. Yeah, for the Megadrive, I think I mentioned that. This was their counterpart to Turtles in Time. I don't know why they didn't get the same game, but it was often the case. Like the Adventures of Batman and Robin are different games on the Mega Drive. Well, all the Batman games, I think, are different between the SNES and the Mega Drive, despite having the same titles and stuff and being by the same publisher. So, yeah. This time, Shredder's not fucking around. He's taken the Statue of Liberty and all of New York. He's just like, yeah. This on the SNES, oh, he's taken one measly statue, and that was Krang. And this time, he's just like, yeah, I'm just taking all of it. You're talking to a television. So yeah, this is going to be... It's going to look similar to the SNES one, and play similar, but kind of the assets and the levels are moved around. So you do get a lot of the same characters. They're just in different settings in different places. This is lovely and fast. I don't think it looks quite as good as the SNES game. I think it looks a bit... rougher, but the Mega Drive, the SNES and the Mega Drive, while having the same power and stuff, they each excelled in slightly different things. I always felt that the Nintendo didn't do so well with darker colors. I mean, look at the tones of brown and stuff in this. As I would look at those colors and immediately think this probably isn't a SNES game. Don't know why. Don't know how. It's just experience with that console over the years. Again, and that says nothing in the sound. I mean, you can immediately tell a SNES and a Mega Drive game, and it's anyone's argument as to which is better for which particular game. It's usually just going to be what you're familiar with. I mean, if you put something as legendary as the Mario, the first Mario theme onto the Mega Drive, everyone's going to prefer the NES version. If you put Sonic 2 onto the SNES, it's not going to sound right. I'm sure you're going to prefer it on the Mega Drive, but I can appreciate both. I can appreciate both versions. I think this sounds a little on this. I think it sounds a little too. What's the word I'm looking for? I want to say casino-y because it's using the same kind of bounce and stuff and the same kind of janky, slightly harsher keyboard that's used in the Sonic casino areas. So that's why I'm not trying to say casino-y, but I know what I mean. It sounds a little harsher. It sounds a little less clean, a little less. the notes sound more separated rather than flowing into each other as it did on the SNES. If that makes sense, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't know. I'm not some kind of music professor. What I do know is this game feels great and looks great and sounds great, and I have beaten this many times. I tend to go for I do tend to slightly prefer Turtles in Time. I think it looks a little better. I think it sounds a little better. But again, that's quite likely just familiarity, because my friend had it and we'd two-player it all of the time and have an absolute blast playing these games. So yeah, and me being I loved couch co-op back then, and I love couch co-oping with Jason when we do this on the channel. But I by and large do prefer a solo experience, so I would have liked to have owned this or Turtles in Time, whatever, for myself, so I could have played it at my own leisure. My sister had the Megadrive though, so this was never happening, because you know, she did not have any interest in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. She had things like the Lion King game that I had to beat for her because she couldn't complete games. She just liked watching them, and that worked out quite nicely for me because I had to play all of the Sonic games and shit like that. So, you know, I don't trust that car. I know in the SNES versions, or one of them, and in the arcade, those cars will occasionally come for you, so that's sus. There we go. Knew it was coming. But yeah, this is another game. I've beat this many times playing on my own. So yeah, this is one I'll probably pick up a little soon there. This is definitely one I'll complete in this collection. Really excited for that third Game Boy game to get my properly spend some time with that. That's the great thing about this game. It's while a lot of my thing playing smaller indie games and stuff like that on Game Pass is down to the amount of time I have to play games and my lack of interest in AAA. This slots really nicely into that. I can now just sit and chip away at one of these as and when. There's like a little on the right buffer, there's a little menu that comes up to skip you out of the games. You can save state from there, so you can you know, rejoin the game at any point you wish, which is pretty handy for the package as a whole. There's also a rewind function, so if you get so far into a level and you've completely fucked it, you can just go back and try it again if you like. The bog standard purple foot soldiers throw the shuriken in this. Ordinarily that, I believe, would be the red ones in the other versions, because the bog standard in the cartoon, the foot soldiers were, I believe, always purple. Certainly the bog standard ones were. So that was the colour schemes they kind of went with. But that is a really slow, wide-angled. Is that a nunchuck? It looks like there's 3 links in it, but these guys. These guys made it into... I'm guessing these guys are around because they made it into the original arcade game, because as far as I'm aware, they were in one episode of the series, of the actual cartoon, and they're just, yeah, Xenomorph parodies when they're big, which, you know, every kid would have got. That was a weird one. That was where they, their eggs, I believe, were mistaken for meatballs and put on pizza. So there's only so much I have to say. This is an excellent game, but Very similar to an excellent game I've already talked about. So, what have we got here? Leatherhead! I loved Leatherhead. I thought he was cool as hell. Only ever saw him in one episode of the cartoon. He tends to show up more in the comics than he did back then. But, yeah. Cool, big, badass Cajun. It's a crocodile or an alligator? Should probably know that. I think he's an alligator. I'm pretty sure he's an alligator. He's got a thing I always found weird. He's got he's like got cat eyes in this. They've got like the you know, cartoon cat eyes, I guess. It's got like the slit instead of a round iris until you hit him. But yeah, that is a beautiful big that is a beautiful big chunky sprite. Let's see if he's got any other attacks. Nope, I guess not. Well, his time is over, so now he will explode for no reason, as is the style of these games. And now we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters for the Genesis from 1993. Lineup is much smaller, and that they look terrible. That picture looked absolutely crap. And this doesn't look particularly interesting either. Okay. This looks horrible. I found a taunt. Okay, how? This feels horrible. Did she just suplex me in the air? What? I was assuming this was... I think she can suplex in midair. I don't know. This is horrible. This feels horrible. Also, will you back the fuck up for 2 seconds? Oh, crap. This looks, feels, and sounds horrible. Let's try a different character. And we now know that Clone April, who doesn't in any way look like April, is an absolute beast. I don't want to put them up to quote unquote cheat. Like, this is the way the game is presented. Who have we got on here? Oh yeah, naturally. Why wouldn't Casey be on an ice planet? Clone Casey. Okay, this is a little bit. It's just my moves seem to be going through him, and there's like this weird, incredible stiffness to it. Like, there's not enough... I don't know what that is. Oh, it hurt me, but not him. There's not enough frames per animation. It's just the thing is in the out position or it's not. This is terrible. I'm really, really looking forward to playing Tournament Fighters again on the SNES. But this is bad. God damn, it is like, I'm sure there's a difficulty, but like the base thing on this is just blindingly difficult. Alright, here we go. This is what you've all been waiting for. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the arcades. I imagine this is a lot of people's reasons for buying this. Released in 1989 in the arcades. This looks great. This plays great. This is everything you want it to be. This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles original arcade game, and it is fucking awesome. There's a really interesting thing that I've played this a lot. In fact, I went to a thing called Retro Replay in Norwich last year with 3 friends, and we camped out on this machine and we beat the whole thing in 4-player, and it was amazing. I think I've never really noticed before. So, lot of frames of animation to everything, and it's a different kind. It still feels impactful, but it's almost like their taking damage animations start in accordance to your swinging animations. So there's not like it doesn't feel like there's a bash every time you hit them. But it looks more organic, that their animations are being pulled into yours or are existing because of yours. I remember those being absolute assholes. I remember the mouse as being a real problem. But yeah, this is just absolutely gorgeous still. Maybe not April's face, which consists of 3 dots, but, you know, this looks lovely. It plays wonderfully. It's looser than it's faster and it's looser than Turtles in Time. I hadn't really noticed that before playing this again, but the first time in a year, you know, play this every day. I think Shredder's Revenge is closer to Turtles in Time. This is very, very nice. This is animated so beautifully, Boot. I'm sorry, Rocksteady. It must feel like I'm picking on him. I'm not trying to bully you, Rocksteady. It's the game's fault. They keep putting you up first. And he glides gracefully through the window. Thought, as that was really quick and short in the arcade, I thought I'd play a little, show off a little bit more of this one. So let's see who the next boss is, as if we don't all already know. But then a lot of you guys might, a lot of you might not have actually played this for 30 years. Some of you may not have the ability to just download a ROM and an emulator and play it on your PC whenever you want. And I'm sure most of you don't live in Norwich, so, This is everything you want it to be. This is everything you remember, and will be excited to playing again. There we go. I wasn't just wasting time. I wanted to actually use the environmental things, but you've got to line quite precisely with them. That little bump as they explode is really satisfying as well. It's a really nice... Like, everything about this, like, the sound design and everything about this is just absolutely wonderful. I have to stop getting kicked in the face by that guy.
Pizza time. Who put the lights out?
It used to blow my mind with the voice. Voice was a very rare thing back in the day. Sorry, there was a little cut there because yes, I had to do something with my cat. Sorry. Yeah, back in the day, there were so few games with actual voices. So you're in the arcade in this, and the Simpsons game would be shouting at you and calling you to come play it and stuff like that. It was awesome. It was awesome, and I'm very, very happy to report to those of you who've not played this in a long time. It's absolutely going to hold up. You're going to have a lot of fun. Because this was created to be a coin guzzler, you can push start at any point to add lives. You can see I've got 50 lives up at the top there because I didn't want to keep. You can restart it with 3 lives. You can play it in whatever. This gives you the option to either play it seamlessly with as many lives as you want, and you can also challenge yourself to do it in 1 credit. It's not taking that option away from you at any time, which is pretty cool. Oh, it's nice to be fighting someone other than Rocksteady as a boss for a change. We just had Leatherhead. Now we've got you, Bebop. Who has a ray gun for some reason. And now we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, for the arcade, which was released in 1991.
Hey, Krang, bring that statue back, you bloated beanbag.
You're talking to a television. And here we go. So, showing off different turtles as we get in later. Look how fast Raph is. He's a speedster of the group, which is pretty cool. Still beautifully animated. Still has it. You know, it's still largely going to be the same game, just with a load of new stuff, and that's absolutely fine. And that's absolutely fine with me. There it is. They're throwing the guy at the screen, which everyone loved as a kid. It's like, oh my god, you can actually do that. You can throw him at the screen, man. That's so awesome.
Pizza time.
It's always pizza time. But yeah, not much to say about this last. Like, as with the last game, most everything, like, things have been refined a little bit. There's a lot more environment, you know, different environments and stuff like that. But by and large, it's not what Krang sounded like, I don't think, but fine. There's lots of new... they've refined a lot of it, and then they've just added new locales and things like that, and a couple of few new mechanics and bits and bobs like that. But yeah, it's more of what you want. It's more of that. That Turtles game was a gigantic smash, and everyone I knew wanted to play it. I don't think I even knew this was Turtles in Time was an arcade game back in the day. I just knew it as a SNES game. In fact, I assumed the SNES game came first and then was so big it went to the arcades, which doesn't make a lot of sense because the arcades would have greatly moved on by then. You know, by that point it was entirely the domain of your Street Fighters and your Mortal Kombats by '94. No, sorry, '92, '93 when Turtles in Time came out in the SNES. But yeah, this is just an absolutely fantastic game. So my dates are going to be a little off because I live in the UK. We got everything a lot later than in the States, and even then we had to wait until here's a few for you: Woolworths, Argos, Index, Littlewoods. We had to wait till it appeared in one of those shops or in one of those catalogues before you could actually buy it. It all added delays on kids getting things. These things are in magazines leading up to the release, so you know there was a lot of time for us to get very, very excited for these things and then not be able to get our hands on them.
Cool off, sucker.
One of the best things about these old arcade games as well is they're so fan-servicey. Like Baxter and Leatherhead and Metalhead and stuff. These aren't guys you saw in every episode, but they are guys that you might want to hit with a stick or a sharpened bit of metal. Yeah, I love that. This has a lot of characters on screen. I don't remember that guy. I don't think that guy's in the SNES version, the little sex robot thing. I really don't remember that. It looks oddly out of place. Also really tricky to hit. Die! There we go. But yeah, you can just imagine the craziness if there's 4 of you. I think all of these versions have online capabilities as well as couch co-op. So if you really want that craziness, you can just take them online and and go nuts and have an absolute. Oh, will you sod off? There we go.
Pizza power!
Well, I completely wasted that.
Cool off, sucker.
Alright, this feels bossy. Who we got next?
I'm going to mangle you
Metalhead.
tiny slime balls.
I remember this. Is he in? Maybe I remember it from the SNES version. I remember this guy being pretty tricky. Although I don't seem to be having too much of a trouble with him.
Pizza time.
Pizza! Ah, come on, Raph, we've got this.
This cave is creepy.
I didn't know that happened. Okay, cool. I got him half down. Like this is where my brain got the idea that the more a boss is hurt, the he starts flashing. That was very much I first saw that in these games. Oh, we got him! We got him. Yeah. So this is fantastic. It's more of the arcade game that you probably came here to play. So that's it. That's everything in this little package. I hope this has been somewhat entertaining and insightful. And as promised, here are those intros for you. So enjoy the nostalgia. Go buy this collection. It's an absolute joy. Bye!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.